convincingly as they won 31-17 over the Carolina Panthers. Very, very good first half, an excellent first half. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then they kind of fell a little bit asleep and got lackadaisical the rest of the game. But overall, I thought a great, great, great game. Want to welcome Eric, a good fan from Gainesville, Florida, to our show. Want to also welcome everybody onto the Crew Live platform. For those of you people that are listening, that are watching our show, whether it's this platform, another platform, whatever platform you're watching on, will you please do me a quick favor? Share this to your timeline. It'll take 1 second. That's all it'll do. It'll take 1 second for you to go ahead, share it to your timeline, allow all your friends to see this great, great show that we have planned for you this evening as I go on my handy-dandy machine real quickly to make sure that everybody is doing what they are supposed to do here. So I want to make sure that is going on. Once again, if you folks can go ahead and share this to your timeline, I would surely appreciate it. I see a lot of people leaving messages. Go ahead and leave messages throughout the thing tonight. We will go ahead and keep you updated on the Tampa Bay Lightning game. Tampa Bay Lightning in the first intermission is leading 2-1. An unbelievable comeback for Steven Stamkos as he scores a goal in the first period tonight, and the Lightning lead 2-1 in Game 3 of that series. The series tied at 1. But I said I wanted to talk. When you go ahead and you look at this game, I mean, everybody's talking about who's going to be the starting running back right now. Everybody is talking, what a great game. What a great game Leonard Fournette had, with the Buccaneers. Is he going to be the starter? Is he going to be the backup? Lots of questions coming up. But Leonard Fournette rushed for 103 yards on 12 carries, had a terrific game. Just an unbelievable, terrific game. And you're going to definitely see Leonard Fournette. And I said this, by Game 3, I've been saying this now, even as soon as they got him, that he would be the starting running back. And you're about to see that. I mean, he's definitely the better running back, not taking anything away from Ronald Jones, who has a lot of potential. But when you're looking at who gives you the best opportunity to win, it has to be Leonard Fournette. Once again, for those of you that are watching this show, if you can go ahead and share it to your platforms and let your friends see this great, great show, I would surely appreciate it. But it looks like definitely I would say that Leonard Fournette's going to get a lot more touches this upcoming week in this game. So look for that. And then you talk about, the defense. Let's talk about the defense in this game. Thought the defense did really, really well. Antoine Winfield Jr. was just a complete beast, having 8 tackles, 3 assists, and of course Devin White as well had 11. I think it was 11 tackles, 4 assists in this game. So just an unbelievable game by those young defensemen. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a good defense for a long time to come. Lots of aggressiveness. Did a great job again up front. Sue had 2 sacks. Just a great style of defense by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But, there's a couple things I do want to get to, and we're going to get to it right now. And it's something that's been bothering me, and I can't see what better place to speak my mind than, of course, this platform. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And, if you watch the game on Sunday, which we all did, I mean, you got to give some kudos where kudos are due. And that's, of course, to Tom Brady. A lot of people, if you don't know much about the game and you look at the stats, you say, okay, Tom Brady had an okay game. That's what you do. You look at those stats, you say he had an okay game. But when you look ahead at these statistics, he's 23 of 35, 217 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. But what a lot of people don't realize, if you didn't watch the game, there was probably 7 of the other 10 passes that Tom Brady threw that were dropped. They were right in the breadbasket, and they were dropped. You know, you had Grayson had a touchdown, hit him in the head. You had McCoy in the end zone. He went ahead and dropped the pass. Then you had Scotty Miller in the end zone. He dropped the pass. So, a lot of opportunities. And before we get into what's bothering me, as we have about 10 minutes before our first guest, we have 2 great guests for you tonight. We have former Tampa Bay wide receiver Charles Wilson is going to be joining us. He played on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 1992 to 1994. And then most recently, Jacquies Smith, a defensive end who played on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 2014 to 2017, will be joining us as well. So some great guests tonight. We're looking forward to that. But now it's time for me to really tell you what's really upsetting me. And let's go ahead and bring up the face of what's really bothering me. And there it is. And for those of you that might not heard the story, Max Kellerman, ESPN, kind of called out Tom Brady. He said that Tom Brady is overrated. He said his results from Sunday were overrated. Now, here's an idiot that works for ESPN that doesn't know anything, doesn't even know what a football looks like, less explain whether somebody had a good game or had a bad game. And this is what bothers me. Max says he's overrated. He only had an okay game. Any other quarterback would have had an okay game. I say to Max Kellerman, you don't know what the F you are talking about, my friend. When it comes to Tom Brady in that game, he easily, and I know there's a lot of ifs, but his receivers dropped 7 passes. If you would have watched the games instead of read the tabloids, you would have understood what happened in this game, Max. But yet you didn't. You just keep shooting off at the mouth and showing people how incompetent of a job you consistently do on ESPN because you don't have your ducks in a row and you don't get your information. He had 7 passes dropped that could have easily went for another 100 yards. But see, the thing, Max, in football, it's not about statistics, my friend. It's about which quarterback gives you the best chance to win. And that's what Tom Brady does. But you consistently, 1 week you love him, 1 week you hate him. Here is a guy who every single week is looking for something that Tom Brady does wrong. Constantly looking for something Tom Brady does wrong. It's just to a point where it's completely ridiculous. Max says he's overrated. Well, Max, you know what? You're overrated. Stephen Smith is the one that carries your show when you want to talk about overrated. Tom Brady did an excellent job. Here's a guy in a completely new offense, completely new system, no OTAs, no practices, no preseason games, and he's starting to gel right now. You're going to see Brady, and then you know what you're going to say, Max? This weekend when Tom Brady busts loose, throws for 400 yards, throws for 5 touchdown passes, you're going to say, oh, he was playing the Denver Broncos. They're depleted. You're never going to give a guy credit when credit is due. And it's about time you stop this bull crap and stop being a Brady hater and realize that this guy not only has been the best quarterback of all time the past 20 years, but he still has the ability to play the game. You're under the belief, and you said it, that age makes a factor in what Tom Brady can and cannot do. Tom Brady is not showing any signs of aging by his performance. For you to say any other quarterback in the NFL could do the job that Tom Brady can do is just ludicrous. If you just think about this guy as a whole, and I don't know how you judge a football player, Max, but when you look at this guy, it's amazing what the guy has done on the field and continues to do on the field. He's won 6 Super Bowls. He's been a great, great role model for kids, a great human being, doesn't cause any trouble, off the field. Just a great example of what a leader should be in the NFL and resembles what a player should be in the NFL. And yet you still continue to ridicule this guy and continue to knock him. Well, Max, it's about time you stop, because I can't wait till this Sunday when Brady comes out, has an unbelievable game, and I'm going to tell you where you can go stick it. And believe me, it's a place where the sun doesn't shine. And that's all I got to say about that. Sorry if I'm going on a rampage there, but I hate when these reporters come out like Max and they continue to think they know what the heck they're talking about when it comes to football, and they don't even know what a pigskin is. So, Max, you know what? Either do your homework, do your job, or get out, because right now you make me sick. That's my take on that issue. But speaking about Tom Brady, I thought had an excellent game. One mistake. There might have been a mishandle of a handoff to Ronald Jones. But overall, I thought he did an excellent job. So that's my take on that. And for those of you that want to comment, have your opinions on what you think of that, please go ahead, leave a comment as I look at some of the comments that we are getting in right now. If you're leaving a comment, please do me a favor, leave your name, where you're from with the comment so that we can go ahead and identify you. But a YouTube user wants to know, Larry, how big is that Chris Godwin is back this week? Well, obviously, it's huge. Anytime you can add a receiver like Chris Godwin to the mix, now all the coverages are different. And I'll tell you who's going to have a breakout game now. It's going to be Scotty Miller, because now they're going to be teaming up on Godwin. Now they're going to have to team up on Evans. It's going to leave somebody open. And, anytime you get a Chris Godwin who is a, unbelievable threat, just like Mike Evans, it's going to leave one of those guys open. And this offense, a lot of people have been talking about the tight ends aren't being used. The tight ends aren't being used. And you heard Bruce Arians say, well, we have receivers for that. In this style of offense that he's using at the current time, the opportunity is to look for these receivers. If the receivers aren't open, then you can go ahead and check down and hit your tight end. But, don't be surprised. I know O.J. Howard, I know Gronk, they're going to be used eventually. But right now, to answer your question, it will definitely be a big boost for this already powerful offense. Looks like, let's see. We got a message from Tommy, it looks like. Tommy wants to know, he thinks Rojo will be better suited as a change of pace back. I don't know if that's right. I understand what you mean, Tommy. And I think both these guys can be useful in their own way. Obviously, I think Fournette got to be the number one running back, the number one go-to guy. But, there's a lot of teams. You've seen the Saints do this before. Amongst other teams, you've seen the 49ers do this in the past when they had Brady and they had Mozart. They would use dual backs, and they both can run very effectively. And that would be a great scenario overall is, you come out there, you go ahead, you use Fournette. But I think the thing that really hurts Ronald Jones, and, you got to see some of this on Sunday, is his inability to catch the football out of the backfield. So they used Shady McCoy, who caught 5 passes out of the backfield. They used Fournette, who scored, I believe, a touchdown out of the backfield catching a pass. Both Fournette and McCoy are two-dimensional style running backs that can both catch the ball and they can run the ball. And I think in order for Jones to have some longevity in this league, he's going to have to learn to catch the ball out of the backfield. But I think going forward, I think you're going to see Rojo this weekend. You're going to see Fournette, but you're going to gradually see Fournette carrying more and more carries throughout the game than he did the previous game. And obviously, if Rojo starts and he doesn't, do much with the football, it's not going to take much for Arians to turn that switch and put Fournette as the main running back. So hopefully that answers your questions there. We are a couple minutes away from having former wide receiver Charles Wilson on the telephone with us. We're looking forward to that. For those of you, we'll give you a quick update on tomorrow's show. For those of you who are not used to watching Thursday, we do Pigskin Thursday. We preview the upcoming game, which this week will be against the Denver Broncos. We will go ahead and preview that game. But before we have Pigskin Thursday on that show, we're going to first talk about the unbelievable Tampa Bay Lightning, who are tied 1-1 in the series with the Dallas Stars and are winning right now 3-1 in the second period with just under 15 minutes left in the second period. We're going to have Tampa Bay game day host Greg Linnelli is going to be joining us live tomorrow. Live, that's right, on Frankly Speaking Sports. And then immediately following him, we're going to have Denver Bronco beat writer Zach Stevens will break down the Denver Broncos with us. We will talk about the Denver Broncos, what we need to watch out for, what they need to watch out for, and how they match up both offensively and defensively. And then, of course, we will also do our picks for the week. So far, first 2 weeks, my picks, and we use the point system, we use the spread, we use the line. Once again, we were 9-7 last week. So far on the season, we are 18-14 on our picks for just about 57% correct. So we will do that again tomorrow. So just a great, great, great show for you tomorrow on Frankly Speaking Sports. And you can see that on the Frankly Speaking Sports platform. We're about a minute away. Let me make sure I'm not getting any messages here. I know that Charles Wilson is about to come on. So we want to, he should be on any second. So once he comes on, we will go ahead and tune into that. So we are waiting. It should be any second now that he comes on. But, we play Denver this week in Mile High. We're going to talk with some of these players. Some of these players might have played in Denver before. I'm not sure if Charles has. I'm not sure if Jacquies had played in it as well. But we'll ask him what the difference. What's it like playing in the altitude and things like that? And remember, it was only a couple of years ago that Jacquies Smith was playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, a lot of let's just say some of the players, Mike Evans, Golston, William Golston, Levante David, were all members of this team when Jacquies had played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're looking forward to both interviews. And like I said, if you see me looking at my phone, I'm just making sure that our good buddy Charles Wilson can go ahead and get on, as I know he's trying to get on right now, he says. So hopefully in the next couple of seconds, we'll go ahead and see our good buddy Charles Wilson. Now, I want all of you to know that on this platform, I'd love to see more interaction. I want to thank Tommy. I want to thank Eric for asking some questions in regards to the team. But go ahead, leave a comment. I know you have questions about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go ahead, leave a comment. Just remember, I can't tell you only very few people I can tell your name depending what platform you're on. So when you leave a message, just say, "Hi, Larry, this is Tommy from, Temple Terrace," and then ask your question. That way I can go ahead and identify you on the show. I do want to remind you all that tonight's show is brought to you by Beef O'Brady's, the original Beef O'Brady's in Brandon, Florida. Good food, not good food. It's original. It's great food, great service, great drinks. It's Beef O'Brady's. Great chicken wings, cold beverages, unbelievable sandwiches. If you want a great atmosphere, great place to watch, whether it's the Lightning, the playoff-bound Tampa Bay Rays, or your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got to go to the original Beef O'Brady's, located in Brandon, Florida, on the corner of Kings Boulevard and Oakfield Drive. So we'll give it a couple more seconds. Hopefully in a moment, we'll have Charles Wilson joining us. Once again, I'm hoping that he will be on any moment here. Let me let him know that we are ready for him. That way we can go ahead and get him on. All right, so I went ahead and let him know we are ready. But the one thing I would say that I'm interested in seeing is, don't think because Denver has a depleted team this week that it's an automatic game. We have to go in. We got to play good fundamental football, catch the football, and I love to see this defense, the Antoine Winfields, the Devin Whites, Levante David, Golston, Button, Dean. I mean, all these guys just have an exceptional game. Let's shut them down. Let's get that defense, rocking and rolling, which, like I said, they did a terrific job last game holding Carolina from coming back. Okay, let's see what he said. Okay. Give me 1 second. Thank you, folks. I'm just typing to Charles. He just had a question there to come on. Let me see which way he wants to go here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do it. All right, we're going to go ahead and give our good buddy a call, and we'll get him on right now. Let me go ahead and do that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor, thrill, and pleasure to have on the Frankly Speaking Bucs Crew Live Hotline. Let's welcome former wide receiver for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Charles Wilson. Charles, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing terrific. Thanks so very much for coming on tonight. We surely appreciate that. Charles, let me ask you this, just starting off. We were just talking about some of the great receivers, the Mike Evans and, just going over some of the great receivers in the NFL. I mean, when you were younger, when you were in college, who were some of the wide receivers that you idolized while you were growing up?
The first wide receiver I have idolized growing up was Drew Pearson of the Dallas Cowboys. When I was a little kid, I was always a Dallas Cowboy fan, and Drew Pearson was my favorite receiver. But college-wise, when I was in college, Jerry Rice. He was the one and only at that time. He was the best receiver in the league. He was the best receiver in the league when I played, but that's what I idolized when I was in college was Jerry Rice.
Yeah, now, talk about being drafted in 1990. You're the 132nd pick overall. You were picked by the Green Bay Packers. I mean, were you surprised that way you went in the draft, or did you figure that was the spot you were going to go in?
Yeah, I was surprised where I went at in the draft because I didn't play my senior year. So I missed a whole year of football, and I was still able to be picked in the 5th round. I wasn't truly surprised that I went to the Green Bay Packers because at that time, the quarterbacks coach for the Green Bay Packers was my offensive coordinator in college. So he knew my big play ability. He knew what I could bring to a team. So that was probably the main reason why I got drafted to the Green Bay Packers, because the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach was my coordinator in college.
Now, let me ask you this. When you transitioned over, you're going from college, you didn't play your senior year. What was the toughest part about the transition from, let's say from college still to the NFL?
The biggest transition going from college to the NFL, which a lot of people don't understand, is the speed. You have fast guys in college. I was a fast guy in college, but once you got to the league, it seemed like everybody was fast. And it was hard to outrun people. That's the main thing. It's like basically the team speed now. Everybody is fast in pro football. Everybody can, if you're a 4-3 receiver, you got 4-3 DBs, you got linebackers running 4-4, 4-5. They can basically run you down. You got defensive linemen running 4-6, 4-7. It's basically the team speed, and the pace is a whole lot quicker.
Now, not many people in their lifetime get to see Lambeau Field. You had a chance for a couple of years to play at Lambeau Field. What was it like being and seeing Lambeau Field?
Lambeau Field is the mecca of football. I'm just going to be honest with you. It was an amazing place. The crowds were unbelievable. It's like a 25 to 30 year waiting list to get season tickets. It could be 20 degrees, 10 degrees below zero, and you're gonna still have a full packed house. People out there enjoying themselves, drinking beer, no shirts on. That's a true football fan. And basically, the whole city shuts down on a Sunday during a football game. The city is completely there. Everybody's either in their house watching TV or at the stadium at the football game.
So, Charles, who took you when you first came over to Green Bay? I believe, don't quote me on this, but I want to say it might have been the Magic Man who was quarterbacking at that time for Green Bay, Don Mahowski. Who took you under their wing and taught you the ropes? Everybody has somebody that grabs onto them and shows them the way through the NFL. Who was that individual for you?
For me, it was Sterling Sharp. He was the main man. He was the big-time receiver for Green Bay, the number one receiver, and I idolized him. He showed me the ropes. He showed me what to do, what not to do, told me what not to do. He basically, like you say, took me up under his wings. I played with him for 2 years, and it was a learning experience for me because he was a great teacher and a motivator, and his work ethic was unbelievable. When you've seen him on the field when he played back in the early 90s, he was unstoppable for a guy his size. He wasn't the fastest receiver in the world, but he made ways to get open. He did what he had to do to get open, and so the quarterback can find him and get the ball to him. He was during his playing days, he was a top 5 receiver, and I was able to play with a top 5 receiver.
Now, let me ask you, after playing with Green Bay, you had the opportunity, you went to Tampa Bay for the next 3 years. Was there a transition you had to make going from a cold weather city that's very frigid to a very humid, hot place like Tampa Bay, or was it really not an issue for you?
It wasn't an issue for me. It was easy for me because I'm from Tallahassee, Florida, so I understood the heat. I'm right up here in Seminole country. I was born and raised there, so the heat was fine to me. I loved the heat. So basically, when I went to Tampa, I was going back home. It was 3.5 hours from home. My family could come see me every Sunday, just about watch me play. So I loved it. Tampa Bay was my second home.
So you came on to Tampa Bay, and I know that in 1994, you had a very good year with the Buccaneers. It wasn't a great team. It was a 6-10 team. Talk about that year. I mean, you had 31 catches, 652 receiving yards. You had 6 touchdowns. I mean, you really came out, and I'm sure it was no surprise to you. You always knew you had the ability. But how was it finally getting your chance after those couple of years of just trying to grind it out and finally saying to yourself, I knew I could do this?
Well, that year was my breakout year. I had been waiting for a long time. I had a decent second year in Green Bay. My first year in Tampa wasn't the best. We were a struggling team, young team. And like you said, that year we went 6-10. We brought in Trent Dilfer, but he was a rookie that year, but we still had, I'm trying to think of his name now. I done lost my train of thought. Craig Harrison, who was from Miami, and he was a starting quarterback. It was just unbelievable year. Defense-wise, offense-wise, we weren't the best in the league at that time, but we went out there and played every Sunday. We played as a team. We left our hearts out there on the field, blood, sweat, and tears, whatever you want to call it. But that was basically my breakout year, and that was the best year, my best career as a receiver in the NFL. And I finally got a chance to showcase my abilities.
Now, the next year, you have a great year, and the next year you traded to the Jets. Were you surprised that the Bucs traded you?
No, I really wasn't surprised because we had a lot of talented receivers on the roster. We had me, Lawrence Dawsey, we had Horace Copeland, we had Lamar Thomas, we had Courtney Hawkins. And we kind of figured that somebody would be traded out of that group because we had so many talented receivers. We figured somebody would be traded, but I didn't think it would be me that was going to be traded because, for all accounts, I was told from man speaking that I'd be safe, but we knew somebody would probably be traded, and then it turned out being me.
Yeah, now, you went to New York, you get to play in front of the media. Now, that media capital. Was it a different experience for you?
Yeah, it was totally different experience. I guess you could say I was kind of out of my element because I was, how can I put it? I hated my time up in New York. I liked playing with the team and stuff, but when I was in the city, I didn't socialize with anybody really. It was practice home for me for the whole year, so that part I didn't like. But as far as media, yeah, the media scrutiny was abundant because, as you know, we didn't have a good year that year, so they were almost hard.
So who was, out of all the guys you got to play with, which quarterback did you enjoy playing the most with?
I have to say Craig Harrison because I had my breakout year with him at the helm. He was a quarterback. So Craig Harrison is probably the greatest, now the funnest quarterback I ever played with was Don Mikowski in Green Bay because he was just, he was a jokester. He was hilarious. He kept things funny, joyful on the field, off the field. He'd invite us to his house every week, every Monday. We'd go to his house, play cards, socialize. But as far as on the field, it was Craig Harrison. But off the field, Don Mikowski, because he just treated us like family.
Now, who do you follow now? Do you follow the Bucs now, or is there another team that you actually follow?
I follow 3 teams, which is still crazy. I'm still, to this day, a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. But I follow the Bucs. I root for the Bucs, and I root for Green Bay. But if these teams play each other, I'm gonna root for the Bucs because I'm a homer at that. My best years with the Bucs, so I'm a homer with the Bucs.
So why don't you tell us in a quick synopsis when you look at this Buccaneer team, of course on paper it looks good, but do you think this team has the ability to, offensively, the weapons they have on this team currently is just incredible. Do you think this team has the ability to make a push this year?
The only way this team is going to make a push this year if they get the tight ends more involved and the offensive line protect Brady a little bit more. They have to protect Brady for him to be able to do what he can do. Like you said, we got the weapons on offense, especially at the receiver position. And if anything, if they keep giving the ball they got to get the ball in the Fournette. I'm just being honest. They got to get the ball to Fournette, and the offensive line has to protect Brady. The offensive line can protect Brady, and we continue to get the ball to Leonard Fournette like we did the second half of the game this past week. The team will be successful.
And you got to say this young, aggressive, dynamic, defense will come into their own eventually. I would think once they keep playing more.
Yeah, the defense, I don't worry about the defense too much because, like you say, once you got to look at it, they really didn't have a preseason. They didn't have a camp. So it's going to take a while for everybody to gel together because they really just starting to play with each other. But I say within give them a couple more games, the defense will prove to you that they're a top-notch defense. It's just our offense. Offensive line has to protect Brady, and we got to run Fournette, and you got to get the tight ends more involved.
Yeah, and I agree with the tight ends. When you got that type of weapons at tight end and they're just sitting there and blocking, I don't want to say it's a waste, but it's definitely not using them to the best of the ability because, Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, who has potential, and we haven't even heard Cameron Brate's name this whole year.
That is so true, and that's what I'm waiting for, really, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I got them guys on my fantasy football teams, Gronk, and for him not to have a catch last week is unbelievable. But like you said, with them just continue staying in block, that is not helping that team. They got to get them out somehow, some way, get passes in their hand, let them utilize their strengths against defenses. But until the offensive line can shore up and protect Brady, you got to keep them tight ends in to help block.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Well, listen, Charles, I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on Frankly Speaking Bucs tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed my time, and anytime you need me again, just let me know. I'll be glad to come on and talk football with you, basketball, whatever. I'll be glad to do it with you.
All right, I'd love to have you again. You stay safe, my friend.
Come on, brother. Be good.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. That was Charles Wilson, former wide receiver for your very own Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What a great, great guy he is. Loves to talk football, still roots for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So just a great, great, great guy. I'm really happy that he was able to join us today. So, we're a couple minutes away from having Jacquies Smith joining us. So we're going to go ahead and see. We'll make sure we keep our eyes on the monitor here to see when he comes on so he knows that we are here. I'm going to just check right here, folks. Okay. So we'll look at this. Hopefully he'll be on in the next couple of seconds. Yep, there. Hopefully he's coming on right now, so that would be great. But, you listen to him, and he made a very good point. The use of the tight ends, and we talked about this earlier in the show. For some reason, our tight ends are just invisible this year. I think we had one target towards a tight end last week altogether, and it might have been O.J. Howard. And, it's just unbelievable that you have that many weapons at that position and we have yet to utilize. And I would think Bruce has a plan with the tight ends. And Bruce isn't going to reveal anything. That's just the way Bruce is. They say I look like him a little bit. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But I agree with Charles 100% that these tight ends definitely have to be more involved in this offensive package, even, just to lay a little pressure off Brady at certain times. Okay, we got a couple questions here. I'm going to try to get to them. First one is, what do you think about our special teams? Special teams really, last game they played well. Obviously the first game we had that mess up on the kickoff. That Edwards ran into Mickens, but Ryan Suckup is gonna be fine. Trust me, guys, he's gonna be fine. He was 1 for 1 with his field goal, made all his extra points. I think overall our special teams is not gonna be an issue at all, and it wasn't a issue last week either. Let me go ahead and see this, Larry. Let's see what this question is from a YouTube user. How much do you see the Bucs rotated this week due to their thin air in Denver? That's a good point. I'm not sure how much, it's going to be more of a let's play it and feel it out type thing. I tell people it's a little bit different. The altitude does affect you in a football game. In a baseball series, you have 3 games, so it affects you even more. But in a football game, I think, you got unbelievable depth at, on our line. I don't think it's going to play much of a factor. I really, really don't. I mean, a lot of these guys have played in Denver before. I think Sue's had a game. Pierre-Paul, I know, has played in Denver. So these guys, I think they'll be fine. I think if it comes to a point where they need to get a breather, and the key, I'll tell you what the key here is, and I don't know your name. I know it says YouTube user, but the key to this defense being okay in this altitude, it's a really simple formula. Keep your offense on the field. If Brady can sustain some long drives and keep that defense on the sidelines, you're not going to have to worry about this team, giving a player a blow to come out and get refreshed and all this, because they'll be able to do that normally. So if the defense comes out, plays an aggressive game, holds them, to minimum amount of first downs, then I think they'll be fine. I think they will be fine. And I hope that answers your question. I don't think, we just sustained some long offensive drives. I don't think the defense will be, affected by that altitude at all. So we're minutes away from having Jacquies Smith. I'm going to check right now, see if he left me a message to, I'll let him know we are ready. And hopefully he'll be with us. I know he did have a football practice today. He does go ahead and he does, let's see. Right, for high school, he's a high school football coach as well. So, these guys stay busy. So hopefully he's done with his practice by now, and he should be coming up very, very shortly. We do want to update all you Lightning fans. We're about a minute away from the second intermission. Right now, the Lightning are leading 4-1 in the second period with 1:20 left in the period. So 4-1 Lightning. I think what the Lightning are going to definitely need to do is to keep that pressure on, in that third period, not to change things. And actually, let's make it 5-1. Oh, baby, the Lightning are on fire as they score again and they make it 5-1. It looks like Andre Palat, if I'm correct, just scored. So 5-1 with about the second intermission just about to happen as they score live. Right while we're on the air here on Frankly Speaking Bucs. Looks like number 18, Andre Palat, does a backhand by the goalie, a Dublon, and it goes in the net for a 5-1 lead. So once again, the Lightning are leading 5-1. Like I said, we're waiting right now for, I'd love to get your feedback on these comments. And I want to thank you all very much for leaving all these comments. It's great to see the comments. I know we're on the Crew Life platform tonight. They shared it to many platforms. Go ahead, leave a comment. We love to go ahead and, get your feedback on the show. Anything we can do to improve. We try to get a lot of interviews. And, we want to remind you that tomorrow night we have another show starting at 9 p.m. We're going to start it off with some Lightning hockey. Now, we're still going to have our Pigskin Thursday, but we're starting it off with Lightning hockey. We're going to have the great game day host of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Greg Linelli, is going to be on with us. We're going to discuss the series. We're going to discuss tonight's game, which looks like it's going to be a victory Thursday. We're going to be talking about as they're leading 5-1. So we will do that. And then later on in the show, we're going to have Denver Broncos beat writer Zach Stevens is going to be joining us live to break down the Denver Broncos versus your very own Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll do that tomorrow night. We'll have our picks tomorrow night for the entire week. So far on the season, frankly speaking, sports is 18 wins and 14 losses for a 57% accuracy on games with the point spread. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll see if we can get maybe Buck Dad on tomorrow night to talk a little bit about fantasy football for a couple minutes on who to play and who to sit. And then we're trying to, and we won't promise you, but we're trying to get a live feed from Denver, Colorado, as Crew Life is about to invade. That's right. They're going to be invading Denver, Colorado for the game. So we'll see if we can get those guys on live as well from Denver, Colorado. So just a fun, full-packed night tomorrow night on Frankly Speaking Sports as we try to go ahead and get in touch with Jacquies. We'll see if we're going to have him right now. We're just going to continue on with the show. Also, we want to let you know that Randy Arozarena hit a homer for the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are 3 outs away. They're leading 8-2. They are 3 outs away from clinching the American League East title. You did hear me correctly. They're already in the playoffs. But with a win tonight, they are winning 8-2. 3 outs left. They win the American League East. Wow! I mean, that's just unbelievable. With the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, we win the American League East. So looking forward to hopefully having an update. We have about 10 minutes left in the show. We're going to open it up to some more questions for you folks. Like I said, please go ahead, interact. We'd love to hear, any questions, thoughts, concerns you might have, whether it's, we're on a Buccaneers show right now. Yes, a fan just said, "Go Bucs." I love this. I love seeing stuff like this pop up on the screen. I mean, that's beautiful. That's what it's all about. And the one thing I think is this fan base definitely has to learn to just relax a little bit. 1 week we hate the team. 1 week we love the team. This is your team. This is your team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guys. And, we're going to have good weeks. We're going to have bad weeks. But we got to continue to stand behind our team at all times. And, thank you, whoever the YouTube user is, for that terrific message. I mean, that stuff we want to continue to see. This team is going to be fine. And I didn't pull up the schedule for you, but when you look at this team, we got Denver this week. Then I believe we got San Diego home the week after. 2 games that we should and could win. Now, you don't take anybody for granted in the National Football League, but this is a team that I think we should definitely beat. We're going to go ahead. We're going to talk about it more tomorrow on Frankly Speaking Sports. But, I definitely think, and I think once again, if you even heard Charles Wilson say about it, and I don't think it's a surprise to anyone, he talked about Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette being the starter. Everybody, there is no dislike or no displeasure or no hate towards Ronald Jones. If Ronald Jones was the only running back, okay, we'd go with him. And we'd be happy, hopefully be happy with what we had. But now we've added 2 very, very good running backs in Shady McCoy and in Leonard Fournette. And Fournette, of course, being the beast of them all, it's got to be playing. He's got to be playing. There is no doubt about it that he needs to be the starting. Every single person you talk to, except maybe Bruce Arians, believes that he should be the starting running back. So, I'm telling you, this weekend's going to be a big, big weekend for Leonard Fournette. That's a banged up team over there in Denver, and we're going to highlight it all tomorrow. But this could be a potential game where Fournette, I would not be surprised if he rushes for over 100 yards again on Sunday. And don't be surprised if Brady can throw for over 300 yards. I mean, the setup is there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's their game to win, or it's their game to lose. And as long as they go in, but they got to catch the damn football. And nothing bothers me more than guys dropping football. You cannot be at this stage of your career and still struggling with the ability to catch a football. You have to be able to catch a football at this stage of your career. Otherwise, you shouldn't be in the National Football League. And, I know it happens, but we need to stop it happening with us. Let it happen to the other teams. Let us catch the football. We did get some breaking news that we did put at the bottom, and we like to share no matter what we're talking about. We always want to keep you updated on what's going on. For those of you University of South Florida fans, this weekend's game versus Florida Atlantic University has been postponed. It has been postponed. If you hadn't heard yesterday and you didn't tune in to our show Bullseye on our Bullseye Network, that after leaving Notre Dame, it was found out that 7 of 94 tests of Notre Dame student athletes came back and tested positive. Now, for those of you UFS fans wondering, they did do a test the Friday before the game on USF players and the Monday afterwards, and all the tests came back negative, but they did retest everyone today. They are waiting on those results. So for the moment, they are stopping all activities at the USF until those test results come back. And I would assume, and I say assume, that those tests will be back tomorrow. So once again, the USF Florida Atlantic University game scheduled for 6 p.m. Saturday in Miami has been canceled. Remind you that this week's game with Denver is a 4:00 game. And tomorrow, we will mention it one more time, that tomorrow night we are going to have Lightning game day host Greg Linnelli on to begin our show about 10 minutes after we start tomorrow. We'll break down this Stanley Cup series. It's tied up at 1-1 with the Lightning winning 5-1, about to enter the third period right now. So great news for Lightning fans. Then later on in the show, when we get to our preview of the Buccaneers and the Denver Broncos, we will bring in Zach Stevens, the beat writer for the Denver Broncos, to break down everything we need to know about the Broncos and the Buccaneers and all the different matchups. Then we'll do our picks. Like I said, we're 18-14 on the year for 57% accuracy. We'll get Buck Dad on to talk a little bit of fantasy football and who to sit and who to play. I wouldn't be surprised if Leonard Fournette is one of his individuals to play this week. And I can't speak for Buck Dad, but I would not be surprised. And then, of course, we will do our prediction on the Buccaneers. So a lot of stuff tomorrow night. You want to tune in. We will be on our Frankly Speaking Sports platform. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all so very, very much. We were expecting Jacquies Smith on with us tonight, but unfortunately, and let me just make sure he's not sitting, in the waiting room waiting for me before I cut him out over here. I wouldn't want to do that. So give me 1 second and let me make. All right. So anyway, I would assume that he's not. Well, maybe we'll get him on next week then. Sometimes things happen, but were able to have Charles Wilson on. We want to thank him very much for joining us on our show today. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We want to also take this time once again to thank our sponsor for this evening, which is Beef O'Brady's, the original Beef O'Brady's, located on the corner of Kings Boulevard and Oakfield Drive in Brandon, Florida. Great food, great service, great drinks. Beef O'Brady's, the original. Go in there, tell them you heard about them on Frankly Speaking Bucs from Frankly Speaking Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, you all have a good night, and we'll see you again tomorrow on another episode of Frankly Speaking.